Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khushamdi. Ji ayanu. Goedemorgen.
Bakhair Agale, Ni hao, Chura Shume, Watch Malay, Ohio Gonzaimis, Guten Morgen. Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifa Hal, Halashuma Chatore, Alan Wasalan Maraba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabiab, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PT World and watching World this morning, alongside the very fabulous, the very talented Shahzad Khan and Shizza Hashmi. Hello, Shizza, how are you today?
I'm taken back, shocked, but okay. Well, okay, no matter what, you are absolutely fabulous. You sort of, took away my opening, but that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, today happens to be Thursday, a glorious morning because we are definitely looking forward towards Friday, again, because weekend. But before that, yesterday something great happened.
Indeed.
Yeah. So what was it you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah.
Just to give a hint, Babar Azam was amazing.
Yeah, that was great. And ladies and gentlemen, since Shizza just mentioned about Babar Azam, it's great that I've actually got a colleague who's interested in cricket.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, after 32 long years, we finally have a batsman who's actually scored a century in a World Cup.
Wow.
Imagine for the last 32 years, we didn't have a single player who actually scored a century in a World Cup. So this is something which was amazing.
And this is something I just learned. So thank you so much.
And there were a lot of people who were criticizing. I was being one of them too as well, because of the fact that Pakistan team didn't really actually started on a very brighter note. And towards, probably while we were in between the competition, I think that, our win against England actually gave us that boost in confidence as well. But yesterday was a miracle, I think, for everybody who's out there. We never knew that, our team is capable of defending a team which is one of the favorites too as well, talking about New Zealand. But other than that, there were a few mistakes, but okay, we're going to forget about that as well. Shaheen Shah did a great job as well.
Absolutely.
And I think Wasim Akram should have actually stepped into the scene quite earlier.
Yes.
And because of the fact that he actually kind of gave them tips to where to pitch the ball and whatnot. But other than that, Haris did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the perfect combination. We really do not need to bring Shoaib Malik in again. I think this is how we need to move forward. And there's one simple suggestion, that is that I don't think that Imad actually needs to play in the team too as well. What will be his replacement? I think just to get a little bit more depth.
Taking notes.
Just to get a little bit more depth in the batting order, I think we need to bring in Asif Ali, and he's actually going to be a great change. But other than that,
but our team is unpredictable. But this is so amazing to actually watch you talk so good about cricket, because of course we all know that you host a sports show as well.
Yes,
which is absolutely amazing again.
Yeah, but then at the same time, sorry, I'm not done. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Sorry about
Go
that.
on.
But now, ladies and gentlemen, and it is very spooky. The condition is very spooky.
Spooky.
Yeah, it's because of the fact that whatever happened in the World Cup in 1992, as in the number of matches we played, the number of wins, losses, and if there was a rain in the match, we have the similarities as well.
Oh yeah, I've been reading tweets about that.
Exactly same.
Wow.
One by one. I've got the clip over here on my mobile, but I cannot read it out. But it's perfectly all right. But there are a lot of ifs and buts now, because of the fact that England will have to lose a match, Bangladesh will actually have a loser match. And yeah, the only difference in between 92 World Cup is that, there were 9 teams playing in 92. But in this World Cup, there are 10 teams. And this is Robin round at the same time as well, because it took place in 92 and now it's in 2019. So I think all the best to Pakistan team. And keep up the spirit. And if we can criticize you, we can even love you. We appreciate the way you've played. And wonderful display of talent.
This is the face of someone who does not know anything about cricket at all, like Shahzad does. But this was absolutely, enlightening to start my day.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
feels
that.
Great, we're back in the game.
Absolutely. But other than that, there's a special day that we are observing, being a part of the, member states of the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, ever since 2017, there was a motion set up by Argentina and adopted by all the member states.
Yes,
This was that on the, no problem.
My shoulders aren't working today, so I'm sorry, I'll have to fix this.
It's totally okay. So on the 27th of June, it was adopted that every 27th of June, every year, a special day called Micro, Medium, and
Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Day. It is, ladies and gentlemen.
Today,
and there's a reason why we're observing it. And it is because of the fact that, first of all, we actually, by 2030, the SDG says that we actually have to globally produce 600 million jobs. And they say that, it's only the medium, small, and the micro enterprises which are going to do it. Usually the size varies from 200 to 250 employees. They add to the GDP almost up to 50%, and then they add to the employment sector to 60 to 70% as well. Imagine what wonders can micro, small and medium enterprises do. But then,
and you know, they're so small. Actually, you very rightly said all the right things that you need to. But to look at an enterprise that is to make a difference, micro actually counts as fewer than 10 employees.
Yeah.
And then your small is fewer than 50, and then medium is fewer than 250.
Yes.
Now these are some of the enterprises that we, if generally look at on a daily basis, we would think what difference would 10 people make. Or an enterprise of, let's say, 50 people make. But it really does make a huge difference, and that is what we are going to be discussing today.
Exactly. And then, Shizza, at the same time, I think that you've hit the nail on the head too as well, where we're talking micro, small and medium enterprises. You know, there needs to be a reason why we're actually celebrating or observing this day.
Okay.
First of all, obviously, we need to cherish the people who are actually coming up with these ideas, who are actually opening up these small and medium enterprises, giving people jobs too. But then on the other side, the challenge is to actually finance this sector.
Okay.
The micro, small and medium enterprises sector needs to be financed so that, all of these SDGs can actually be fulfilled. And then other than that, this void can be fulfilled as well, because they're playing a very pivotal role for the economy of the country and the globe too as well. But to discuss about all of this, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined by somebody very humble, very quiet, and it might be because of the fact that he's an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs usually need to be quiet. Because they obviously have to listen to everybody, whatever they say, and then they're like, okay, calculate, yes, okay, yes or no.
Yes,
but that's how it is. He's a technical expert too as well. He's got a grip on artificial intelligence, which will soon be replacing employees in the MSME sector too as well. I don't know, but yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, on my right-hand side, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Farhan Zaidi. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. And what do you have to say about Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Day, which is today?
Okay, so micro, small and medium enterprises, they are basically contributing to the economy because they can excel at specialized things.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the main thing. And because they are very specialized, and this small number of employees can do wonders by just coming up with an idea and having a startup culture, and then working towards a specific goal. And the second thing is that they scale, because every big enterprise, if you know, most of them started very small, in garages and all those things. So eventually they can grow if the idea is good, and they scale well, and they scale more efficiently. And that's the main thing that makes them.
That's great. And for the understanding of our viewers, ladies and gentlemen, and we surely go out in 46 different countries, which I'm not trying to show off, but it's perfectly all right to look at these gorgeous faces in the morning. But other than that, whenever we talk about small and medium enterprises, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of work has been done even within Pakistan.
Absolutely,
in terms to finance these medium and small enterprises. For example, we've got the I think that it's a public-private partnership, or I'm not very sure, but we have got this SME bank, Small and Medium Enterprises Bank.
Okay.
And the sole purpose of this bank is to actually finance people who come up with ideas, probably who have a budget of within $1 million or $2 million or $3 million. That's how it is. But then on the other hand, while knowing that we actually have to invest in the micro, small and medium enterprises, what we're failing to do is that we are failing to support this bank system, which is actually out there to support the micro, small and medium enterprises. The example is SME Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead, check that, because they only have 13 branches. Imagine if we are to create 600 or to contribute to that, do you think that we need a bank with only 13 branches, probably in urban cities only? How do you think that it's going to actually work out?
Well, I come from a technological background, so we have a lot of options in terms of financing for startups. So there is a startup culture which is really coming up in Pakistan. Previously it wasn't there, but in the past like 10, 15 years, I would say, it has changed, things have changed. And for example, we have a great government initiative which is called Ignite. That was previously called the ICT R&D Fund. Now it is called Ignite. And what they have done is you can just submit proposals, and they finance you much more, even much more than 20, 30 up to like 30-40 million even.
Okay.
So, so that's if your idea is good and you can just endorse your idea by some potential customers, like by some MOUs or some kind of endorsements, they can finance you. And we have in the past, I have also been part of a group that has received funding from Ignite.
Wow.
And there are other people I know who have received funding, and they have actually taken their enterprise to the next level.
That's great.
Okay.
So that's these things are happening. Then also there is a venture capital funding also going on. There is a lot of I see young entrepreneurs coming up every day, and they have created a culture sort of thing. They are doing meetups. Even in Islamabad, there's a lot of meetups going on with entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, boys and girls. And so I'm really hopeful that things will change.
Yeah, that's so true. And since you've been talking about the startup culture a lot, you know, that is absolutely true. This is probably a change and shift ever since the last decade or probably 15 years, yes. But since there are so many new businesses and startups coming up, Shahzad, you know, one of the articles in Pro Pakistani mentioned that more than 50% of the new startups 5 years down the lane, they don't even exist anymore.
Exactly.
So if you are looking at, you know, completing the SDGs for 2030 and, you know, catering to unemployment, where are we lacking at? I mean, this is the sustainability model that we need to improve, or what is it? I really think we need to discuss that.
And you know, I would love to add to that too as well. And you've raised a very amazing point as well. And the research shows that, you know, the startups for the very first year, they tend to fail, and only 10% actually survive as well.
Yeah.
And there's a reason behind that. And that particular research said that, you know, people who actually come up with genuine ideas globally, the total population is 1 or 2%. The rest of the people just have to actually copy the same idea and go after it, chase it. I mean, for example, I think that, I'm sorry, but I'll have to say that Uber, ladies and gentlemen, I think Careem is the local version or the Asian version of the same business plan. But what happens is that we miss a few steps in between implementing those business plans. But other than that, you know, talking about this particular idea, sir, which areas do you think people really need to concentrate that, okay, you know, in days to come, this business will be profitable? Because this is the idea where people get confused.
Right, it's a gamble.
Well, I think the main thing, because since again I come from a technological background, so I would say the new things coming up like data science and data-driven organizations and artificial intelligence and those things. We have to upgrade our skills. And especially in the context of small to medium enterprises, there is something called predictive analytics. So that's one thing that the small to medium enterprises can make use of to actually excel in whatever the service or product they're offering.
So are you trying to say that predictive analysis is something which is actually going to help you know whether this business is going to survive or not? Whatever business it may be.
Yeah, well, not directly, but what it can help you with is how good your product is doing in the market, how are your sales going to be affected in the next quarter, and similarly things like whether you should particularly take a business decision right now, or how would it pan out.
Okay, so then let me make it easier for you. For a country like Pakistan, where the exchange rates are rising every single day, the dollar is going up, we certainly cannot actually be or still survive in a business which needs quite a lot of imports. But how do you think that things are going to turn out for people who've just initiated with their businesses? And don't you think that it's going to be a lot of trouble for them?
Well, exchange rate only affects you if you are importing and mostly
or probably exporting as well.
In exporting, it's better. If exchange is going up, then you're actually making more money.
Exactly.
Right? So, but the thing is that mostly the government is giving like subsidies on raw material imports. So, if you're making some small thing in a small to medium enterprise, you'll probably be getting some kind of subsidy from the government. So it won't really affect you that much as it is perceived, as much as it is perceived. And secondly, if you are into technological innovation business, then your clientele can actually be international.
Exactly.
And then you will be exporting your services and your consultancy or your software or whatever you're making in technology, and that will actually help contribute to the knowledge economy.
Okay.
So building a knowledge economy is very important.
Well, that's great. And so which area to invest in before we wrap up this segment? Do you think that it's the education sector? Do you think that it is the technical sector? Do you think that it is the, you know, any other sector probably?
All of the above.
All of the above?
Okay.
Because I heard that, you know, there are lesser or probably no duties in terms of probably investing on electric cars, you know, so something of that sort, or probably the information technology as well.
Yes, many sectors like electrical cars, solar, powered things, energy, sustainable energy
efficient things,
and also the software exports.
Software exports.
All of these are basically we getting tax rebates.
And I think that this is the way forward as well. I think technology is the way forward, artificial intelligence is the way forward, but then there's the question mark. I'm sorry, Shizza, that I'm speaking a lot. And that question mark is that Farhan Sahab over here actually just said that, you know, for all of those people who are actually going to be working towards the import or export, it's not what it is. But what he mentioned over here was that he was actually trying to explain that people who are actually going to work into the areas of artificial intelligence will actually reap out. But then at the same time, he said that predictive analysis is not going to be that correct too as well. Do you think that that predictive analysis, I think, is an example or a branch of artificial intelligence itself? Did you trust artificial intelligence?
Well, the nature of artificial intelligence and also predictive analytics is probabilistic.
Okay.
So, yeah, we have a certain amount of uncertainty.
Yeah.
It's always there, but then you have to get better at it. Okay. So, if you can tune it, if you are getting good at it, and it's all a matter of education and training as well, and upgrading your skills.
Yeah.
So, if you, and there's one point I would like to make also, that a lot of people fear that their jobs will be lost when artificial intelligence will come and so on.
I'm one of them, because I read somewhere that even robots are going to take over anchors too.
I would like to make a point on that, when Industrial Revolution came, the same kind of fears were there. When the internet came, again same kind of fears were there. When the mobile phone came and so on. So there's always these kind of fears, but people upgrade their skills, people learn new skills, and people adjust themselves.
Which is why I think I'm actually going to learn how to fix robots. I think that that'll be a profitable business in days to come. Like, you know, after service for Robo GP1 or something of that sort. Oh, my robot's not working today, sir. Okay, send it to me. I'll fix it for you. Oil change services, something of that sort. I think that will work. With every new advancement, ladies and gentlemen, there are newer jobs. I mean, people never knew that with internet there will be vlogging, or people never knew that with the internet there will be content generation, or people didn't have any idea, and people never knew that they will be able to earn millions of rupees while sitting back at home.
At the expense of just their gadgets.
The internet's going to be there. People actually felt insecure. They thought that the postman actually thought, okay, you know, who's actually going to go post these letters, but he never knew that newspapers will still be alive. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. It was wonderful to have you and to be in conversation with you, with people who are out there. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever we observe such a day, it is actually just to create a ripple effect. And I think that people need to learn and be in line with the newer technologies if you want to move forward with the world.
Absolutely. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we were celebrating and talking about, observing actually, and talking about micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, and especially in Pakistan, when we look at the startup culture, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many other businesses coming up every other day on small and large scale. So please support your local startups, be Pakistani, buy Pakistani. This is just a live example for Turkey. Shahzad, do you know that even in their supermarkets and their shops, they don't even sell chocolates or snacks or, you know, crisps from outside Turkey.
Wow.
It's sort of an obligation that only products made in, you know, Turkey, the local ones, are supposed to be sold, which definitely adds to their GDP. Yes. So
but I hope and pray that, you know, those chips or whatever chocolates they sell are tasty enough too as well. You know, this is something which is important.
Exactly. That's another dilemma.
We need to meet the international criteria.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I don't think that people will actually have any issue in eating, whether it's something produced by Pakistan or something produced from elsewhere as well.
Absolutely. We don't, so you shouldn't even. But on this note, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading out to a very short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about something that Shahzad already did give away. Hold on to that thought. Good morning.
Let's do it.
Magla Hills, the heaven of Islamabad, the abode of God, a place where you can explore your soul and meet power of natural elegance of mountains. Spread over an area of 12,605 hectares, the Magla Range, the foothills of Himalayas, are youngest hills with an age of 5,000 years old. Magla Hills are home to around 600 plant species, 250 bird varieties, 38 mammals, and 13 species of reptiles. Magla Range is characterized by many valleys, scenic spots, and beautiful water streams, especially in the monsoon months. Famous for their tranquil environment and lush green natural splendor, Magla Hills are a particular source of pride, harmony, and spiritual solace. For the residents of Islamabad, many of whom make it a weekly ritual to scale the various trails to Dominico and Pir Suhava.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watch your world this morning alongside Shizza, Hashmi, and Shahzad Khan. Earlier today, ladies and gentlemen, we were observing MSME Day, which is Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises Day, and how they can actually contribute to the economy, or probably to the up to 50% of the GDP, and to the 60 and 70%, up to 60 and 70% to the job market as well, which is wonderful. And
Absolutely.
I think that micro, small, and medium enterprises are the way forward in order to fulfill our SDGs. But now, very quickly, before we were in conversation and I was talking about vlogging and how newer trends are coming in as well, recently there's a Pakistani who's actually made us proud with his camera, and it's because of the fact that for the last, I think, 2, 3, 4 years, I've been witnessing him while I was on stage. He was actually filming a few other people. He was doing other stuff as well.
Okay.
But recently, by European Union, there was a competition with the name of Faces to Heart. He kind of gave in his hard work as well, and he got selected, and I think that he won too as well. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, on the right-hand side, we have been joined by a young vlogger, and he's none other than Mr. Hamza Bhatti. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum, Shahzad and Shizza. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show.
It's perfectly all right. Thank you very much for joining us. But ladies and gentlemen, before we can even ask him any question, I think what we need to do is we need to play that video who actually brought him to our studio. So can we please share that? Okay, so we just have to wait for a minute or two.
Sure.
But very quickly, give us the background of this entire competition.
Well, Shahzad, basically, Faces to Hearts was an initiative by the European Union.
Okay.
So primarily, they were selecting 20 vloggers from all over the world to represent their respective countries. And what was going to happen was that they were going to vlog with each other. So they're going to partner European vloggers and non-European vloggers with each other. So the European vloggers are actually coming to Pakistan as well in November. I'll be collaborating with an Italian vlogger very soon. So the competition was basically, of course, worldwide, and you were supposed to submit videos of your country, and how people from different rural areas were struggling with different types of things.
Right.
So I, of course, was lucky that I submitted my video, and worked on an essay as well.
Wow.
And so I submitted it, and when I got into the top 2 of Pakistan,
Wow.
and then there was a voting competition between the 2 Pakistanis, and won from there as well.
Wow.
And here I am.
And that's great. It's superb too as well. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, that, you know, I've actually seen this gentleman grow. Because I think, one, he was junior in a university, which was actually right next to mine. And then we'll go to other university because we weren't really satisfied about the type of people we used to study with. So we used to go to another university as well. But other than that, it's not an easy task because generally I think that people are getting aware, more aware, and there are a few people which I would love to mention over here, and I love the way they work, and I love the content they generate as well. And for them, I think Muru needs to be on #1 for me, Irfan Janejo as well, you know, Yu Khano, you know, all of these people are doing a wonderful job.
Right, absolutely, I do agree with that. But you know, before we still find out the video that we need to watch, Hamza, you had a job before this, right? Like a proper job. You had some amazing degrees that you studied for quite some years and everything. So leaving all of that to pursue a dream that was not even clear to you as a future, how hard was it to first of all explain it to your parents and then be ready for it?
And that's probably the biggest challenge when you are trying to just, you know, break out of the system, right? Because I mean, most of the people in Pakistan, they're like, you know what, get this education, get this degree, get this job and this and that. And to break out of the system, that's a huge challenge, because when you tell people that, oh, you know what, I do YouTube for a living, and they're like, oh, okay, so how do you make money? And then you're like, that's not your concern. But then again, people think that it's not a job. People think it's not even a job.
Exactly.
And this is the mindset that I feel like that through, you know, these competitions that could change. That someone who is sitting just in his room could make a video, right? Send it to the European Union and get a chance, get an opportunity of a lifetime to go to Europe, go to Belgium and represent his country, which is, I mean...
Exactly, and that's great. And you know, you're not the only one in this boat as well. And it's because of the fact that initially when I started working for television, a lot of people used to come to me and they used to ask me, so what do you do? And I was like, I do a morning show. Or probably the shows I used to do before for a private channel. And then they were like, okay, what else do you do? And I was like, I just do this. And they were like, okay, so do you earn a lot? And I was like, no, I do not earn a lot, but I think that whatever I earn is enough for me.
Absolutely.
And I think that
and
this
Shahzad, I think you will agree with this. If you actually definitely are passionate about something and you get to do that as a job, you really don't care about how much money you're making.
I love it.
Right?
And then at the same time, you know, Shizza, I kept on, I actually tried myself as well because of the fact that, you know, the people I used to work with for TV, now a few of them actually happen to be the monsters on internet as well. So I kind of tried it doing from my own profile and I got quite a lot of feedback, but that was great. But then eventually turning to YouTube, which I recently did, I've only got 100 subscribers right now.
I'll follow you today. Subscribe to you today.
Thank you very much for that too as well. But I initiated. And I think that in life, success is only going to be with you only if you have the courage to start anywhere.
Absolutely,
you know, so you really do not have to be very fancy with your sets and whatnot. And this is how Hamza actually started. You know, you just had one simple camera, you would go around places, talk to people, and that's it. So then, when did you realize that you're finally a YouTuber now? When did you started getting response from people?
Yeah, I remember Shahzad. So the first time when I went to the north, Hunza and Skardu, I was very excited that, you know, I'll go there. And so I had this background of making little clips of videos here and there. So when I come back from the trip, I send those little clips to my friends on WhatsApp. And they're like, you know what, this is good stuff. Why don't you just compile it and probably try to make a video out of it? And that's exactly what I did. I put that video up on my Facebook. That's almost 3 years back. So in just 2 days, I got 30,000 views.
Wow.
And I was like, because it was a bit hard to, you know, take on because I had shared that video from my own personal profile. It was public, but then again, the response that I got was like, okay, you know what, this is something that I could do. So, I mean, I could do for a living and make videos for people.
And you hadn't thought about that before?
Never, exactly. So it just, you know, for me, this has been one thing that you must go and try different things.
That's
because you'll only know once you try. And then, So this videos, you know, they gave me the motivation that I should be doing more videos. But as Shizza said, that I was of course working from 9 to 5. I had a proper job, So I kept on making little vlogs weekly, monthly. There were times that I couldn't even post anything.
Right.
But so the journey has been quite, it's been 3-4 years. But yeah, I mean, now it's the time that I am getting some recognition.
No, that's amazing. But you know, Hamza, there's one thing. It's sort of an ordeal if you're a blogger or a vlogger.
Yeah.
You continuously have to put stuff out to engage your audience. I mean, Shahzad, even you know, I have a blog since, I don't know, more than a year now. I'm so lazy with that, the one I have with my friend. Oh my dear God, it's such a hard thing to, you know, produce content. But you do it regularly. How though?
Well, Shizza, I'll be honest with you. When in your timetable, you must have hours in between that, you know, this is the time that I need to put up stuff.
Right.
It's more like it's more like you should take this as a job.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, because this is one thing that I have realized, and I, of course, follow a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of vloggers and influencers, and this is what they talk about. They tell you that you must take this as a job. So when I travel, there have been so many times, actually most of the times, when I travel, you know what, I actually don't enjoy that much. Because I spend that time filming and making videos. So
So you can't really be in the moment though.
Exactly. There are times when you just miss out. So I was in Swat recently for 3 days, so I got a huge sunburn on the side as well. And so I saw I ended up not enjoying the trip as much because it's the same thing that you actually end up capturing moments which you when you come home and then you see, you know what, this was amazing. Oh, you know what, I was a part of this. But yeah, so if you take it as a job, take it very seriously, put in the work every day, even on the weekends.
And I think this is something which is very important, but this is something which a lot of people fail to do as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, even for myself, you know, the type of content I put on my pages as well is usually from my shows and, you know, things like that. And I think that it works too as well, because you do not really have to do a lot of work in there as well, and you just edit it and it goes out as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, before we actually ask him whether how much money he makes on YouTube, I think it is very pertinent to see one of his videos so that we can even decide, okay, you know, this video might be worth probably $3,000, $4,000, or how many views. Let's take a look. Faces to heart, ladies and gentlemen. Hamza Bhatti making Pakistan proud. Let's go ahead.
It all began in 2017 with my first travelogue in the Pakistani northern areas. Little did I know, this trip would begin a life-changing journey that I am still on today. In the start, my wanderlust was for the scenery, the architecture and the culture, but it was the people and the stories which I fell in love with. How these remarkable people brought life to these wonderful places, how they had survived conflict, war and displacement. Yet their resilience knew no bounds, how this had made them stronger, how they continued to smile. And as a visitor, of course I felt privileged to see this, but I felt that there was a gap between their inspiring stories and the rest of the world that I come from. And I would love a chance.
Well, this was Hamza Bhatti, ladies and gentlemen, on one of his vlogs, and I think this was the one he submitted for the competition, right? So, because, tell us all about it. Where were the places that you shot? What was the sort of inspiration or idea behind it?
Exactly. So, Shizza, these are primarily displaced people who had come from Afghanistan and from all of the adjoining areas to Peshawar, right? So, of course, the European Union, when they gave us this task that you must cover some specific type of people who have been either, you know, going through poverty or some specific type of problem. So this is what and because I was going with my friends to Peshawar, so I thought, you know what, this was the right opportunity to cover these people, get to talk to them, get to know their stories. So because Faces to Heart is more like sharing other people's stories with the world. And this is how we can, this is how why social media is so beautiful, that you could share anyone's story from anywhere in the world to people all across the globe.
Exactly.
So your lens.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And which is why, you know, I think that this is the right time, the high time that I'm actually going to ask him that what are the basics of a vlog, you know, because a lot of people I see are trying, but they really do not know what to do in between. You know, just like a film, you know, there's a start and then there's a climax and then there's an end. So how do we make a vlog video and how long do you think it needs to be?
So basically, the vlog is just like, I mean, of course you guys read books. So there's always a start, there's always a mid, there's always an end as well. What you need to do is to in a way make sure that people are engaged, right?
Okay.
They should know that it's not just me going to Shahzad and Shizza's show and just holding a camera and just talking about. No, that's not it. I should give a background of what I'm going to do before I.
Hi guys, this is the start of my day. And
exactly. No,
here it
believe
is.
me, and
Right.
at times it's like, you know what, you feel like I don't want to do that, man, all the time. But then again, you must give a background. Then of course, whatever the action is, but if I was here and I was making a vlog, I would of course include this, but this would not be the main thing.
Right.
The main thing would be the story that I tell the people, how I got to Shahzad and Shizza's show.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? And of course, then I could go home and conclude that, oh, you know what, I'm very happy that I got a chance to go here, and you know, thanks to the European Union, this and that, and this is what I'm going to do tomorrow as well. So it's more like there's a story which is happening every day, and you must make sure that people are engaged, people know the background and what's going to come next.
Okay. Exactly, and which is why, you know, what I'm going to do is let me try, you know, the way people speak on vlogs as well. Can we zoom in a little? Can we get a solo shot as well? So just to try that, so that it makes us feel like as if, you know, that we are going to do it. So if my brother actually helps us to stand up and zoom in a little, please. Khade ho jayenge? Yes. Yeah, he was just sitting. It's perfectly all right. Please do your job. Yeah, come on, zoom in.
Breakfast break, guys.
Can we zoom in a little? Yeah, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how usually vlogs actually start. Yeah, yeah. So probably, I bought a solo frame. Please come on, give me a solo frame just a little quickly. So, okay, they're not visible on the camera, so they put their hand on the lens and as soon. Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. This is Shahzad Khan and I'm actually going to the morning show on PTV World as well. And what for? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is something which you really need to look into. And I will definitely I'm going to share the links and whatnot. And you know, yeah, this and this and this and that. And I love the energy, you know, so this is how usually a lot of vlogs start. But one of the vlogs, so since I'm in love with cars, I think that one of the videos or the channel I like is the Supercar Blondie.
Oh, yes.
And you know, and I think that she's made a mark in the smallest period of time as well.
Okay. I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah,
so yeah, I was saying, like the energy that you put in for this start that you did. Do you think that vloggers or bloggers wake up with that energy? Because to be honest,
they have to do it. They have to do it.
I understand that. So there's so many times. So my partner, you know, messages me, please make a video. We have to put it up on the blog. And I start doing it, and within 10 or 20 seconds, you know it, right? I can't. It's so hard. So where does that energy, or where does that, you know, I don't know, the aura come from?
Exactly. As we were talking about this, you should take this as a job.
Yeah.
You know what? And you know,
I think this is where she's missing out as well.
No,
and I think this is where usually people who are on jobs miss out.
No, exactly. Because you know what? Of course, there have been times when I would wake up and I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to get out of the bed. And I'm supposed to go to this place, make a start of. So most of the times what we do is that, of course, instead of just, if you feel like that you don't want to make that video at the moment, you can have a good voiceover.
Yeah.
So instead of just filming yourself,
especially when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do that. Just, you know, film your surroundings, film your breakfast, film your this and that, because you don't want to talk into the camera, right?
Right.
You go to the place, whatever, and once you come back home, you do a good voiceover, right? So you could always save the story, save that content that you have shot, and this is something that I, of course, learned just a few actually weeks back, that I could save my content that I would have shot so many times and just would have led to waste, just because I was thinking, oh, you know what, my voice in this, I feel like that I feel terrible. You know, this guy is miserable. so this is how you can probably do it.
Okay, but just one more thing though. Since, you know, a lot of, but that's the thing that bloggers actually do. They put out parts of their lives every day. Is that not a threat to your privacy? I mean, I'm just, for my own understanding though, is it not uncomfortable to wake up one day and be like, you know, millions of people are a part of this part of my life, and you're sharing with them?
Shizza, believe me, so this recent video I made on, I just explained the situation when I wasn't able to go to Europe for this reason. The video currently has 500,000 views.
Wow.
And I've been getting different types of threats that you can't even imagine. Of, you know, this is here and that. You know, exactly when you talk, because when you go public, there will always be people who agree and disagree with you. You must know there will always be people who like you and people who hate you like anything.
For no reason though.
For no reason. So you must on day one, once you come into blogging, you must accept the fact that you can't be affected by what people think of you.
Exactly.
That's true.
You can't be affected by what type of, there could be a huge backlash. People could turn against you, people could start a page against you.
Wow.
But I think Froggy and her husband needs to be banned. I mean, this is not what
Let's
we
not
want.
get there.
And this is not the right way to go forward. This is
mean.
clickbaiting. This is clickbaiting, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want people to create such kind of content and then say that, oh, we want to come back to Pakistan, stay wherever, because I think Pakistani vloggers are doing a fabulous job, and people are actually supporting them all over the globe. I mean, just look into the way Muru actually does his voiceovers as well, and the way he's shooting, and the way Irfan Junaid is working, or Yukano is working, is far more better than people. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'll have to name them. Froggy and her husband actually needs to step up in their game, and they need to come up with some good content.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ducky Bhai needs to stop talking nonsense as well, because there are a lot of kids on the internet.
Right.
Please make good content, ladies and gentlemen. Be like our show.
Absolutely, I like that. Be like our show. But since Shahzad already did start talking about clickbait, did you ever do that?
Sometimes, yes.
It's like how?
How bad was it? How bad was it?
You know what, Shahzad? Okay, so this is one thing that we, of course, half of the community is divided. The YouTube and the social media community is divided on this.
Right.
But should you be using clickbait titles or not, or clickbait thumbnails or not? Because at the end of the day, for example, you made an amazing video, right? The problem is that YouTube probably wouldn't even show it to the people who have subscribed to you, right? Okay. This is more like to get those people to watch your video. Somehow make them land on that video so that they could at least watch 3 to 5 seconds, and then they could.
Karzakar does this a lot.
No, exactly. I mean, he does. But the reason that I'm not against it is because
that's how it works.
Few of the biggest, because that's how it works, and few of the biggest vloggers in the world. I'm not just saying Irfan and Muru, they're like, but the biggest vloggers in the world, they do this. And I was recently watching a video where this guy explains why we need to start making clickbait titles, clickbait thumbnails, in order to make so that our YouTube doesn't die, because most of the people are just getting views just because of thumbnails and no other.
Exactly.
So,
there's nothing. And thank you very much for saying that. Thank you very much for giving it all away. You're definitely making Pakistan proud with the type of work you're doing. But very quickly, I know that it's not a question which is very relevant, but I still want to ask it because of the fact that there are a lot of parents out there whose kids are actually, picking up on cameras and they want to have their own YouTube channels, but they only have one question. Will they survive with the amount of money they're going to generate? Okay, let me make it more simpler. If you have 1 million subscribers and 1 million views on your videos, how much are you going to get paid?
This is a funny question, because, what if you were getting 100,000 views in the US and you were getting 1 million views in Pakistan? You would still make more money if you were getting 100,000 views in the US.
Let's go US, man.
Because, I mean, this is something, first of all, I'd like to address this, that the parents should encourage their kids to do whatever they want.
Yeah, definitely.
Because for me, it was personally, my parents let me do, honestly, they were like, but beta, go and do whatever. And so I think this is one thing. And when it comes to YouTube money, it's something that is relevant. I mean, it's
very quickly, let me make it simple, very quickly, because we have to wrap up the show as well. On an average, how much do you think a basic or a normal YouTube channel earns?
In Pakistan?
I mean, if it's
$1,000?
if it has, exactly. If it has more than 50,000 subscribers, it should earn more than $1,000 a month.
Wow.
Okay, wow.
Which is great, I think.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Hamza. It was amazing to be in conversation with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something, YouTubing or vlogging or blogging, this is a growing trend. And if you are interested in it by any sort, you should definitely pick up your camera or even your mobile phone, go about it, because then you can only discover if you enjoy doing it or not. And you really don't have to invest a lot in it. You can do it at the expense of your bed only.
Exactly.
So I really hope you learned something from us. Write us on a Facebook page to let us know, which is with the name of
World This Morning.
On Twitter.
World This Morning without a G.
Daily Motion YouTube.
World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
And if you've missed this, it's all right. You can catch the repeat at...
Which is going to be at 11 p.m. tonight. So the next time, watch you 3.
Good morning.
Thank you.